Good morning. There it is. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Are we up? Are we awake? Absolutely not. We're up, but we're not awake. It's an early morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. I am trying to find the court feed, but it's not up yet on the trials that we have today, or hearings, I should say. So, how are y'all doing? How are you doing? I'm trying to wake up. I got to be honest with you. This is early. This is an early morning, late to bed. For those of you who are not fully aware, we have several motion hearings that we're going to hear today. Production order cues, we have those up. Okay. So I'm just trying to get things open and running. Out and about with Miss Diane. Good morning. Oh. I am trying to find my mods have been fabulous. Fabulous. Oh my gosh. They've been just amazing. So my mods and my researcher have been quite busy, and I can't do this without them. I really can't. So we have, I'm trying to get my brain to think. We have Adelson this morning, and then we have Calder Gray for his arraignment this morning. And then we have, that trial ended yesterday. How are you doing out and about with Miss Diane? Good morning. I feel like I'm doing, the radio show, Miss Delilah. Do y'all remember her from like the 80s, Miss Delilah? That's what I feel like I'm doing this morning. I'm trying to not be too obnoxious and too loud. Because it is early in the morning. We'll do birthdays when everybody is more awake. Like I said, I apologize. I'm trying to wake up with coffee in my cup. Hi, TJ. Good morning. So, 8 o'clock, well, we're supposed to be having some stuff happening here, but I'm not sure at what time. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this screen. We're going to listen to this. It does come with a warning. I do want to warn y'all. There is a warning with this. This is concerning the school shooting. Let's go ahead and watch it.
This is a murder investigation. The shooter is in custody. His name is Colin Gary. He is a 14-year-old student here at the high school. He will be charged with murder and he will be tried as an adult.
He was at the door and they almost let him in until they backed up, and then he turned away, and that's when you hear like the first rounds of fire. He never really talked. He was pretty quiet. He wasn't there most times. Either he just didn't come to school or he just would skip class. But even when he would have talked, it was one-word answers or just short statements. When you think of like shooters and how they act or things that they do, it's usually the quiet kid, or like that's a stereotype for it to be, and he was the one that fit that description in our class.
The GBI has arrested Colin Gray, age 54, in connection to the shooting here at Apalachee High School. Colin is Colt Gray's father that was arrested yesterday. He is charged with the following: 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. These charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son, Colt, to possess a weapon.
Do you have weapons in the house? I do. Are they accessible to him? They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are down. We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year. Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about him saying like that, and I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. You know, I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all, and get him interested in the outdoors.
But I want to make it very clear that hate will not prevail in this county.
We want to see justice done. Those of us who live in today and able has stepped in.
We want to turn to some new developments surrounding Wednesday's deadly shooting at a high school in Georgia. Authorities have now arrested the father of the 14-year-old suspect. Colin Gray was taken into custody yesterday. He faces charges of second-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and cruelty to children. Police did not offer many details other than to say Gray's charges are, quote, directly connected with the actions of his son and allowing him to possess a weapon. 2 law enforcement sources tell NBC News Gray bought his son an AR-15 rifle as a Christmas gift last year. They don't know exactly when it was given to him, but around the holidays. Sources say it was after police interviewed the teen last year about those online threats. The teen had denied making those threats, and no arrest was made. Gray's son is accused of shooting and killing 4 people at Apalachee High School on Wednesday. He faces 4 counts of felony murder and is set to appear in court later this morning. 2 senior law enforcement officials say they have discovered evidence of the suspect's interest in mass shootings, particularly in the 2018 attack on the high school in Parkland, Florida. So, Mika, we sat here yesterday and wondered how a 14-year-old could get his hands on the guns. The father had said previously when the FBI visited the family about these online threats, he has hunting weapons in his home, but they are locked up and that his son does not have access to them. My gosh, Joe and Mika, after the threats were made, allegedly, he bought his son, 13 or 14 years old at Christmas time, an AR-15 style rifle for Christmas last year.
I mean, it is beyond shocking. And Caddy K, we're starting to see this, obviously, and in this case, it seems to be what I said. We're starting to see is the arresting of parents, and it's about time. You have a 14-year-old child.
It's about
who is obviously has great mental challenges. The cops are calling him evil. His aunts or other relatives say this is a boy who basically was let down by his parents from the very beginning. And somehow the father buys this boy an AR-style weapon after he tells police he's going to keep guns out of his possession because of the threats they have already been warned of. I mean, it's very clear. I mean, it's very clear he should go to jail.
Yeah, the timetable of this and the fact that we know the police visited the home, spoke to the father, spoke to the boy, and then the father gave the son access to this AR-15 and access presumably to other weapons in the house as well, even though he said he didn't have unsupervised access to them, gives a very clear TikTok. I mean,
don't apologize.
Maybe this is the direction America is going to go, to try to cut down on the number of children that the society seems to be happy with having killed in schools, because, wow, there's a certain amount of fatalism about trying to do anything else at the moment. And you hear it again and again from members of Congress and members of the Republican Party and members of the lobby groups that want to keep firearms in the hands of people that, well, we can't do anything. And
practice.
I'm not going to go political on this.
Are fought by the right. You know, in the 60s, it was fought by the left. These things shift back. A number of Republican support that are going out to buy AR. They want this sort
of. Okay, we're not going to go to the political end of this. If you choose to watch that, you'll be more than happy to do so. My thing is I'm trying to keep politics out of this. I'm sure that the child was not thinking politics, or I hope he wasn't when he did this. So for me, I'm trying to keep the politics out. It's hard. I have my own political views, but I am trying my darndest to not insert them. I don't want to. I don't think it's appropriate for me to insert that information.
I mean, I don't know him. I rarely spoke to him. He doesn't really speak. When he is there in school and he's not skipping, he doesn't talk. So I don't really know him.
Hey, Valentine, your sources tell ABC News the gun used in Wednesday's attack was a Christmas gift to Colt Gray from his father. More than a year ago, the FBI looked into concerning tips about the teen, but investigators ultimately determined there was no probable cause to take action. This morning, the most severe case against the parent of an alleged school shooter. Colin Gray, now charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, and 8 counts of cruelty to children in the Apalachee High School shooting.
These charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son, Colt, to possess a weapon.
Investigators say Gray's son, 14-year-old Colt Gray, used an AR-style rifle in Wednesday's attack. ABC News learning the gun was a Christmas gift from his father. In May of last year, the FBI investigated several tips saying Colt Gray had possibly threatened to shoot up a middle school. At the time, his father told investigators there were guns in the house, but Colt did not have unsupervised access. Colin was recorded then telling investigators he was teaching his son about hunting.
We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting.
Authorities say Colt shot and killed 2 teachers and 2 students Wednesday. The shooting left at least 9 others injured.
You just hear gunshots. There's about 10 to 15 of them at once back to back. And then everyone just kind of ducks to the floor. And we all kind of sporadically crawl. We don't really know which corner to go to.
Among the victims, math teacher Richard Aspinwall, who one student said tried to confront the shooter and died crawling back to his classroom. We're told the suspect was taken into custody within 7 minutes after the initial call.
And he doesn't really speak. When he is there in school and he's not skipping, he doesn't talk.
Investigators are still working to determine a motive for Wednesday's attack. The 9 people who were injured in the shooting are all expected to make a full recovery.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC 7 Chicago Eyewitness News.
This morning, the father of a Georgia teen accused of gunning down 2 teachers and 2 students at Apalachee High School arrested and charged. In the most severe case against the parent of an alleged school shooter, Colin Gary is charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, and 8 counts of cruelty to children.
These charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son, Colt, to possess a weapon.
Investigators say his son, 14-year-old Colt Gray, used an AR-style rifle in the attack. ABC News learning the gun was a Christmas gift from his father. In May of last year, the FBI investigated several tips saying Colt Gray had possibly threatened to shoot up a middle school. At the time, his father told investigators there were guns in the house, but that Colt did not have unsupervised access. Colin was recorded then telling investigators he was teaching his son about hunting.
We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting.
Wednesday morning, authorities say Colt opened fire just before 10:30, killing 4 and injuring at least 9 others.
You just hear gunshots. There's about 10 to 15 of them at once back to back. And then everyone just kind of ducks to the floor. And we all kind of sporadically crawl. We don't really know which corner to go to.
Among the victims, math teacher Richard Aspinwall, who one student said tried to confront the shooter and died crawling back to his classroom. 7 minutes after the initial call, we're told the suspect was taken into custody.
He doesn't really speak. When he is there in school and he's not skipping, he doesn't talk.
Colt's aunt telling ABC News he was begging for months for help with his mental health, saying she believes the adults around him failed him. All 9 victims sent to the hospital are expected to make a full recovery. Meantime, the 14-year-old suspected gunman is set to appear in court later this morning. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
For her, Ugochi, thank you. 5:35 now, and today, the 14-year-old Georgia high school shooting suspect is scheduled to make his first court appearance. He's accused of shooting and killing 2 students and 2 teachers. And just last night, his father was arrested for allowing his son to have a weapon. Jared Hill has more on the investigation.
A stunning new twist in the Georgia school shooting. Authorities have arrested the father of the 14-year-old accused of killing 4 people at Apalachee High School. Colin Gray is being charged with second-degree murder, as well as multiple counts of involuntary manslaughter and cruelty to children.
These charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son, Colt, to possess a weapon.
Investigators say the 54-year-old bought the AR-style gun used in the shooting as a gift for his son, Colt. The teen has been charged as an adult.
You never think something like this would ever happen. Not here.
Now the community is coming together to heal and mourn the loss of 2 14-year-old freshmen, Christian Angulo and Mason Schermerhorn. Esther Matias is Christian's classmate.
He was a very sweet kid. He did not deserve this.
An eyewitness says 53-year-old algebra teacher Christina Irami died after jumping in front of a student to protect them. 39-year-old football coach Richard Aspinwall was also killed.
I wish it was all just a dream. I mean, me and my team, me and my friends, we could all just wake up.
According to an incident report from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, they interviewed the suspect and his father last year regarding anonymous posts threatening another school on the online platform Discord under a username referring to the 2012 Sandy Hook gunman. At the time, the suspect denied making the threats, and deputies determined there was not enough probable cause to make an arrest.
Let's bring in former federal prosecutor Katie Cherkasky. Katie, good morning to you. So 2 details I want to highlight here. The first is what Brooke was just mentioning about the father admitting to investigators that he bought his son the gun as a Christmas present last year, which means he bought the gun for his son after sitting down with law enforcement and them telling him that his son had made school shooting threats. And the other thing that's come up is that the shooter's aunt told the Washington Post that he had been, quote, begging the adults around him for mental health support in recent months. Still, these are the most serious charges a parent of a school shooting suspect has ever faced. So what do you think about all of this?
Well, this case is in many ways eerily reminiscent of the Crumbly case. And you'll see in these cases where parents are charged that there has to be some sort of evidence that the parents were aware that their child had some sort of issues on the mental health side of things and or had exhibited violent tendencies. In this case, it's
Testing 1, 2. Testing, test. Okay, cool.
Okay.
At a good volume or okay, perfect.
You're getting ready for court. Mental health is a huge issue. Huge.
So he was saying the judge's mic is a little too high. No, too high. So I brought it down.
In the school systems and
I bumped it up like
in
2-3
general.
notches.
Sorry, guys, I'm having to create a thumbnail for this.
You don't need any of that.
I'm creating too many of these. I'm getting too good at this.
Yeah, the face is the important part.
My heart is just hurting right now, guys. I apologize if I'm not as verbal this morning. I'm trying to let them do the talking. I'm heartbroken.
Yes. Is there two? Yeah. Okay. So
I guess I'm speechless over the fact that this man knowingly gave his child a weapon. I'm going to mute the chaos in court. I am almost at a loss for words at this. How can you give your child a weapon when you knowingly know that there's an issue with this child's mental health and that you were questioned by the authorities and you think it's okay to give your child a weapon when it has been known that there's been an issue. Is exactly what I have for you on that one. Is exactly what I have for you on that one. Oh. I love hearing some of their chatter.
okay, so she knows me.
Okay, I gotta get this done. What is it? Setting up the camera.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna. Well, let me know when you get.
It was said yesterday that they would not be doing this.
Testing 1, 2.
Live. It's going to
Testing.
be via Zoom.
So we're good.
Apparently
Okay.
it is going to be live now.
Yes. TJ. Yes. If you can talk into the lawyer mics real quick, I just want to get a feed for. Yeah, both, if you don't mind.
This is the state mic. Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay.
How is the PA part of it? Okay. They're going to need to get a little close.
I
Defense mic.
I still want to hear more about Mom. I know she's got a pass, and we've nailed her on that pass.
Do it one more
but
time.
Defense mic.
too sure
How's it hearing?
what
Yes,
her
no?
involvement
Can you hear
in
us
all
okay?
this is.
More?
Okay, I'll fix it.
Okay.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. All right.
No.
Okay, defense mic is that right? That's right. No.
Not all parents are obvious to their children's issue and likelihood of something like this happening. I get it, Miss Kiss Me Cow. I really do. You're right. But if the FBI came to your home and said there's been threats, and then would you go and purchase
I'm sorry, TK. Can you do it one more
a
time?
weapon?
Okay.
Would you go and then purchase a weapon
I'm gonna try it one more time. I don't know why I hung up.
and say, "Here you go, son"?
Defense microphone, defense microphone. Testing, testing.
Okay, sweet. All right, thank you.
That's where I stand.
All right, we're good.
That's just where I stand. There is not always a time. You were so right about that. Not always a sign. So true. True. However, would you bought your child a pew just a few months after that child was being accused of a threat? I don't think you would. I think you have a little more common sense than that. Sorry. Not sorry. I think you'd have more sense about that. I think that you would, or I hope that you would, as a parent, be able to honestly, it's almost too early in the morning for my brain to handle this. I'll be honest. I know you were responding to Regina saying that parents don't ever think their kid could do something like this. This is true. Most parents do not. Most parents do not ever think that their child is capable of something like this. And my heart goes out to the parents who have dealt with something like this. And it's horrible. But like I've said before, if you as a parent have done 100% of what you could do, oh, those are all the victims' families. Oh, Lord, child, help them. Help them, Father. Ooh. Ay. This is going to be hard. They haven't even had the time to grieve or bury their child or husband. Or this is not an easy day for anyone. It will not be. We can just keep them in your prayers, y'all. I know I'm being quiet. I'm trying to be respectful of the fact that we're dealing with something very serious, guys. This is not anything that deserves a celebration or a bunch of hooting and hollering on my end, and I'm trying to treat this with the respect it deserves, personally. So if I'm a little more subdued, please understand why. And right now, I'm also trying to do the thumbnail for this event. I appreciate everybody being here. Again, like I said, I'm just trying to be courteous, respectful. I am a little quiet, and I hope y'all understand why. This is not a time for celebration or a lot of commentary. I want to allow the courts to do the talking.
If I can get you all attention, there are no hats. They can have sauce for me. And if you have your cell phone on, you can vibrate or silent. Please don't make
Silence thy phone. Kind woman is saying, silence thy phone.
anything. Y'all have any questions or anything?
Well, there will be a lot of emotions. If this does become triggering to you, I'm going to politely ask that you go ahead. It's okay to remove yourself from the situation and from this hearing. There is no shame. Self-care comes first, y'all. Self-care always comes first. So please, if you see that you're struggling with something, please do me a favor. Step away and come back when you are in a better place. Like I said, this is not an easy situation for anyone to be in. And I'm just trying to be respectful of everybody involved. Does that make sense? I hope so.
You know what? It's okay.
I guess, and tomorrow we'll have the arraignment for Colin Gray.
No, I have like a really long piece of it. It's fine, honestly. It's
You're not all right, Susan. We have discovered that YouTube is it's a glitch.
All
It's not
right.
on our end, and also it depends on what words you're using. Sometimes they may think that what you're saying is inappropriate. So what they'll do is they'll rephrase what you were saying and see if that will kick you back in. Okay, I apologize, but we're here. We bless you and hope that you will continue to join us. Thank you for letting us know there's been trouble. I'll see what we can do on our end, but I do know that YouTube has been struggling a few days with that, so I apologize.
All rise. Superior Court of Everett County is now in session.
Thank you. Please be seated. And good morning, everyone. My name is Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's
Did he say Dingledorf?
We're here for a limited purpose this morning. I do want to note for everyone's benefit that there is, as everyone certainly is aware, considerable interest in what has occurred in our community in the last several days. For that reason, the court has seen fit under Rule 22 of the Uniform Superior Court rules to allow media outlets to record some of these proceedings.
Thank you.
However, under those rules, the court has set in place certain limitations, and I just want everyone to know that the media has been informed of that, and I'm confident that they will comply with that. But otherwise, there is to be no filming or recording by any members of the public or any other individual other than those authorized specifically by the court in its signed ruling. Are we ready, counsel, to begin and bring the defendant in?
State's ready, Your Honor.
All right.
Defense is ready.
It must
right.
be nervous as hell. I sure would be.
All right, good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Colt Gray?
Sir.
My name is Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceedings. Mr. Gray, I do need to inquire as to whether you're able to read and write the English language.
Yes, sir.
All right. I also want to inform you, I want to ask you, do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney in these proceedings?
Yes, sir.
And you are, in fact, represented today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Zane Harmon, you're here on behalf of this defendant, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you understand that you have the right to be continuously represented throughout this proceeding, and if you cannot afford to hire counsel, then this court is obligated under the Constitution
Who, I
to
guess the
provide
aunt
counsel
hired
for you,
him.
without cost to you. All right, I am going to inform you of a few other matters, and I'm not going to ask you anything, just inform you. So one is, I want to make sure that you are aware that you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything at all. And it's important to understand that because anything you might say could be used against you at further proceedings associated with your case. I want to inform you of the charges that you currently face. In essence, you are charged with 4 counts of felony murder, as outlined in the state warrants that have been issued against you. I want to make you aware that the maximum penalty for felony murder, so for each count, the maximum penalty is that you could be punishable by death, by imprisonment for life, without parole, or by imprisonment for life, with the possibility of parole. If you have any questions about these charges, then I would urge you to discuss those with your attorney. I would invite you, Mr. Harmon, to inform the court as to whether there's a request for bond at this time.
At this time, Your Honor, there is not a request for bond. We will file the appropriate motions if that becomes necessary.
All right. An indictment by the grand jury for most felony offenses or accusations, well, you have the right to receive an indictment for these offenses. And I assume Mr. Brad Smith is here on behalf of the DA's office, or he is our district attorney. and he's accompanied by Ms. Patricia Brooks, who is his chief assistant. A preliminary hearing, you'll have the right also to a preliminary hearing unless you make a bond, which of course at this point there's no bond being requested, or unless you waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or a jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. As you sit here in this courtroom today, under the law, you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point in any proceeding will not be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. Counsel, let me just inquire as to whether there are any other items that the court should address before we conclude this preliminary hearing.
No, Your Honor.
Well, I do have one piece of information to convey to the court. There was a development yesterday afternoon that makes it necessary for our office to have alternate counsel appointed, and arrangements have already been made in that regard. I've already explained that to Mr. Gray, and alternate counsel will be appointed by the end of the day today.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Donna C. Graves. All right, then with that, this hearing is concluded, and you may escort this defendant out. All right, with that, I understand that we have another first appearance hearing, and I think that we're going to have a little bit of a recess before we conduct that, unless everyone's ready to proceed with that.
The father.
I think that I told the media outlet that I would recess briefly to allow them to kind of reconfigure what they're doing, and so we'll be in recess for a short time until I'm informed that everyone's ready. All right, thank you.
Okay. So now we're recessing to the father. Yep. Daddy's time.
Yes.
What a shame. Thank you, Miss Eddie. No court date next at this point. Not at this point. Good morning, everybody. We thank you for being here. I really feel for the families. I really feel for the families at this point. This is
Just
absolutely.
let everyone know we should start back in about 15 minutes. So we'll get started earlier than the 9:30 schedule.
I mean, they haven't even had time to truly grieve the loss of their child, and they're sitting in a courtroom. That's just appalling to me. It absolutely appalling. No parent should be going through this. I feel. And do we assume father? Father has admitted to giving the weapon.
We could, and everybody can take your seats. We are going to have to bring the people
Well,
back out again.
What are they bringing out again? He matured a wee bit. Definitely has matured a wee bit. So what we just saw with the father was arraigned. The son was arraigned. He is not going to get any chance of bond or bail at this point. He will be getting a high red pen. He will be getting a new attorney. This attorney is just representing him for the day. I would not want to represent this case. So no bond, none requested. He has a PD, and they said needs reassignment. Yeah. His dad has a public defender as well. He is up for, I guess, life without the possibility, or could have sworn that's what they said. I would think so. But also at this, I don't know how to say this without being crude. He may be, but guess what? he is partially responsible for this because he knowingly gave his child, after said child was under investigation for threatening to unavail and unalive its students in the past, and yet he what's the word I'm looking for? He gave him a weapon. At the age of freaking 14, he gave him a weapon. I'm like, how can you do this, dude? Why would you give him a weapon at the age of 14? I don't get it. To me, that is absolutely insane and asinine. And I feel that he needs to be held accountable. He needs to answer for this. Well, for the Colt Gray, yes, they've already they basically no bond was requested, none was given. I also feel like they're kind of smart in that, in the sense that by doing that, they save him from going into a population, for him getting harmed and unalived by the unalived while out and free. I'm sure there's some people who would love to do that at this point. So, yeah, he's definitely remained in the jail system. I'm sorry, I am creating the thumbnails for this. Not perfect. I'm not totally happy with it, but I'm accepting of what I've done. So, it is what it is. Yes, it will be much safer for him where he is, because if he's out and about, he won't make it. Honestly, I don't think he would. So the next step is to bring the father in and then go from there. I've got an eyelash that's driving me crazy. Oh. I mean, it's not what I would not want that to happen to him, but it is what it is. I mean, he unalived and harmed a lot of people. I can see some people wanting to do some things. So best to keep him where he is, and he knows it. And so does his family. And so does the family. The aunt. The aunt is very supportive of him. The aunt feels that the mother especially did him no justice. The mother especially she calls out the mom big time. in this blames the mom. She does. She blames the mom because the mother has drug issues. The mother is known for her. She has a past and it is known. So, yeah. Yeah, the mother's catching some heat. I think the mother was also an enabler or what's it called? Codependent. Definitely believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe that why is this not doing what I want it to do? Not trying to be disrespectful in any way or try to hypothesize things I shouldn't. But I fully believe that the mom was definitely a little bit of what do they call it? Yeah, codependent, and possibly an enabler. Excuse me, couldn't catch that quite. Yes, Miss. Yes, oatmeal. I did. I said, Miss. I apologize. You may be a Mister. I did share that yesterday. There is a small hair. Good morning, Samantha. Good morning. Appreciate all of y'all being here. I got in early this morning. You are a miss. Thank you. Didn't know. I have to be careful. I don't know, Miss Addie. I am not going to even try to guess. I'm going to let the courts do the talking on this one. As hard as it is, y'all. Man, it's hard. I've got a lot of things I got to get done. I'm glad they're going ahead and doing the father. Or maybe it's all my glasses. No. Oatmeal. Yes. I use my real name because this is my channel, but yeah, you got to be careful with that sometimes. You never know who's lurking. You never know. Y'all, I'm getting a lot of these little thumbnails in my program. I don't know how long before it says enough. I think I've got about 30. What a lot of trials we're covering. So I want your humble opinion. What do y'all think? Oh, I already see an issue. And there's the father. Yep. There we go. I fixed it. I love Canva. I was scared to do Canva. I really was. Yes, I'd like to replace. Canva was scary for me. And then I just dove in. And it was great. I am He's not showing up. Hmm. How many? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see comments at the moment. I am loading this. Let me get to the comments. There we go. There you go. Can't hide from me. Hi, y'all. Hey, good morning, Miss Trout. Oh, well, if it is, it is. We'll be here. I'm going to mute this. Um, they may be. I'm kind of looking for it. If anybody finds it before I do, pin it in the comments. I'll grab it. We also have the Adelson motion hearing this morning. I'm just trying to keep an eye out. But if anybody finds it before I do, please, please, please let me know. I have the outside of the courtroom. We'll switch to this live for the moment. Let me get it up here fully. So at least we have an outside the courtroom because they were inside the courtroom for the hearing. So we'll just do this. I guess they do have a large police presence, which is very normal for this situation. A gracefully broken mom, they do have to move and transport both of the suspects. And they're going to want to get Colt out of the courthouse in the van and on his way before they bring the father. One of the thing is sometimes when you have a situation like this, oops, I got to clean that. When you have a situation like this, having both of them in the same place at the exact same time in public like this creates a very high, excessively high safety risk for both of them and all the police and everybody else involved. So by getting one completely off premises and out of the way before bringing the other one in, I add it is a safety issue for everybody. Iconic Donald Anderson did so that she could see the grandkids in Miami. Now she still doesn't see them. I know, right? So, yeah, it's not an easy thing, especially when you're not used to this kind of stuff. Handling this. This is not a huge town. Oh, stop spamming me. Yes, Oatmeal, we read the Facebook page of the aunt and all of her comments. Also, yes, Oatmeal. Both of them will be on self-harm watch in the jail. They will be in 24/7 lockdown. Well, it's actually 23/1, 7 days a week lockdown. They're going to be extremely guarded. And I prayed last night for all the people in the jail that are having to deal with these two men because their lives and their safety is at a heightened risk. The people who are already in the jail are probably, if they've got any brain cells, irate about what happened. And then on top of that, um, on top of that, all the people in the community are upset and irate, and the families are devastated. And it has happened where you've had someone try to unalive the person charged with the crime in the courthouse or thereabouts. So they're just being very, very careful. Yep. I missed the end of the trial last night. Are you talking about in the Redden case? He pled guilty. They will give, and he went through all that, and they're going to reset the date, I think, for November it was. Yeah, after the second witness, the guy who tried to fight him off, the judge took this a break and came. Yeah, so the legal clerk, law clerk that sits next to the judge, she has known him for 19 years, so that's from baby. He's a very young guy. She's known him since childhood at some point. Who tried to protect her. Basically, when Redding jumped over or hurdled or flew like Superman over the bench bar and the bench and attacked the judge, one of the district attorneys who was closest ran and tried to grab. Well, I stepped back. The law clerk was right there trying, excuse me, to pull Reddin off of the judge. And then the DA came over and helped him. And that's the person who received all of the fist blows from Reddin. He beat the bloody, lucky pulp out of Reddin. I mean, out of the DA. And then the assistant DA ran over. Oh, it's far away. My bad. Reddin jumped over the bench and attacked the judge. The law clerk tried to get him off of the judge. Then the DA came over and helped him get him off of the judge. Then Reddin turned his fist over to the DA and laid at least 6 to 8 kidney punches. I mean, just boom. That's the thuds you were hearing in the video. And then the assistant DA came over and he got a few licks. And then that's when the law clerk decided that he needed to help and he pulverized Reddin. I mean, I counted 15 punches into Reddin. And then one of the officers in the court took a dive trying to get in there and help and gashed his head really bad, filleted his scalp, and it was actually dislocated his shoulder, and he ended up having shoulder surgery for rotator cuff damage. So that one, um, he after the judge testified first, then the law clerk testified. And that kid can tell a story, y'all. I would want him to be on my case telling the story because he's phenomenal. And after the lawyer, after hearing that story, decided to go talk to his, well, I guess briefly talk to his client. Then he went in and spoke to the judge, came back and spoke to the client, and the DA accepted a plea to guilty with mental illness. Now, he does have mental illness. He's on medications for it. But I still believe he should be held responsible for what he did because he chose to stop taking his meds or not take care of his own mental health. And if he's not capable of taking care of his own mental meds and keeping track on his meds, then he needs to be in the program where he goes daily to an MHMR or MHDD program, and they hand you the med every single morning or whenever you're scheduled to take it. It was a show. I watched that thing live, actually. I was court hopping when it happened. And I thought this was like an old case. And then I realized, no, we're live. This is happening. Okay, caught up to lifetime. Hi, Jedi Jess. Good morning. So we have already seen the shooter. I'm trying to find something else to call him. Um, perpetrator. I don't know. Uh, now the defendant. He's come up and already been. He did not request, nor was any kind of a bond given. Smart. He will stand a better chance of staying alive where he's at under protective custody than out in the public. And now we're waiting for the father to arrive. Like I said, they're not going to move both of them at the same time. They're going to move one and then the other to ensure that there is not somebody who wants to unalive both of them at the same time. It is an emotionally charged environment in there. No, they would not. No, but none was requested. There's no bond for him at all. And I don't know if they're going to bond father or not. I would assume not. But they'd be foolish because I'm sure someone would take I can't say. I was going to take a shot. No, I can't take that. No, I can't. Somebody would try to unalive him. I know. We can call him Junior, CG Junior. We do have a few people that are really upset and are trying to start a defense fund for the father. Oh, thank you, oatmeal. Yay. I still got homework to do. It's due today. I know, right? Yeah, I I caught on to that real quick. Real quick. Oatmeal, thank you for being a member. Yay! You can join our members only lives. We just had ours, so we'll do one again, depending on either the last day of the month or the first day of the next month. Saturday, that is. Excuse the yawns, y'all. This is okay. My personality and my body. I can stay up all night long. Not yawn much. But if I go to sleep and get up early, y'all, I'm yawning for the first half. I don't care how much coffee I have. Um, it is said that they have found evidence. What? Oh, that was a happy household. That was a happy marriage. Oh, good grief. Good morning. Good morning, Evil Queen. And for all of you who are joining me for the first time, I'm Ada K. I am usually a little bit more lively than this. I was up at just before 6 my time. Didn't go to bed till 2 my time. I am exhausted. Okay, be careful how you label these lead shooters. I don't want to get in trouble, please. But good one, Christy G. I'm not too sure about that. Um, eh, there were a lot of rumors, so I'm not too sure. We'll research that when my mods wake up. Y'all, we are all tired. We have done a lot of late night. All right, guys, when you're discussing the pew pews or lead shooters, let's spell the first word of the number like FIVE and then put the number 5. I do know that YouTube is being sensitive, especially right now with what's going on. So I don't want them to ban me or whatever they do. I don't want to be in YouTube jail. So let's be careful on how we're, yeah, lead thrower, lead shooter. Yeah, I don't like pew pews. That word in my family was like a negative, and it is a negative, but I like pew pew. I mean, a lead shooter. Yeah, I'm sure they did. And I said the moment this happened, we're going to have multiple. We're going to have there's going to be other children who are on the verge of doing what this kid did, and this could set them over the edge. So yes, I am not surprised. Oh, the song. Yes, Christy G. I apologize, but everybody's very sensitive right now, and I'm trying to stay relevant and up to date and give you all the information, but also stay off of certain radars. Does that make sense? I don't think they've had it yet. Good morning, Kristen. Yes. Yes. Mhm. I know, but I haven't gotten in trouble with that. Miss Trout, I haven't gotten in trouble for that one, so we're good. Um, y'all can call it a pew pew if you want. That's fine. Yes, you're right, Jason. The first one, Kristen, has happened with the perpetrator defendant, the young one, CG Jr. And it wasn't much. Here is the father. Oh, he is nervous and rocking.
Just to make sure that
Oh,
the system is working. And
they didn't want to get him doing the perp walk.
all right, so the following aren't questions that I'm going to ask. I'm just informing you of some things. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you at further hearings or at a trial on the charges that you're facing. For this hearing, you're not going to be questioned about facts and circumstances surrounding your charges. You are currently charged with, and you'll be provided with copies of the warrants if you don't already have them. You're currently charged
the families,
with
guy.
2 counts of felony murder in the second degree. You're charged with 4 counts of felony involuntary manslaughter. You're charged with 8 counts of felony cruelty to children in the second degree. Now, for these offenses, for the felony murder counts in the second degree, felony murder in the second degree, the maximum penalty for each count is up to 30 years imprisonment. For felony involuntary manslaughter, of course, again, there are 4 counts. The maximum penalty for each of those offenses is 10 years imprisonment. For the 8 felony cruelty to children counts, the maximum penalty under the law for each of those 8 counts is 10 years imprisonment, for a maximum total possible penalty for the charges that you currently are facing of 180 years imprisonment. If you have questions about these charges, which I assume that you will, the court urges you to discuss those with your attorney. Let me inquire as to whether there's a motion for bond if Mr. Gray is moving for bond at this time?
No, sir, not at this time. We will allow alternate counsel to make that decision.
All right, thank you. All right, I also need to inform you that you have the right to an indictment by a grand jury, and you also have the right to a preliminary hearing unless you make bond or waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. I want to make it clear to you, Mr. Gray, that you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point cannot be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. I mentioned the first appearance hearing a moment ago. That is being set for you for December 4th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Currently, that's set to take place in the Magistrate Court of Barrow County. It could be subject to change, but I just want you to know that that is the date that we currently have. In fact, counsel, could you approach, please? I have this, let's see, I need to scratch this out. This document that discusses bond and gives the date of the preliminary hearing. And I guess I could sign that and he can just get a copy of it. And then the warrants are attached to that.
He is not doing well.
I would like for him to sign it.
He's not doing well at all. Look at him. His child's doing better than he is. And I get it.
Do you want me to go ahead and give him his copy?
Yes, please.
And the page continues.
Yep, I'm sure. And Jed, I wouldn't want to represent this case.
They service copies on them, so I assume that they're for him.
Jason Riddle? No, not yet.
Sergeant Briscoe, do you concur with that? Is that what those copies are for?
The father is scared to
Those are for
death.
the
I
detention
think the
center.
father knows the
So he's
gravity
got
more than the
copies,
son
or
does.
have them provided? All right, so the detention center wants to hold on to those.
The mother does not live with them. The father does, and he purchased the weapon and gave
All right,
it
let
to him.
me, and thank you, Ms. Seagraves. I want to certainly acknowledge the presence of our district attorney, Mr. Brad Smith.
I don't think
who's
he's
assisted
mentally
by
ill.
his chief
If he
assistant,
is, they're going to have to prove it, and
Is
that's
there
very
anything else,
difficult.
counsel, that the court needs to address that I have neglected to address?
No, Your Honor.
No, sir, not
Yep.
at this time.
All right.
Like I said, he
I do wanna
understands the
thank,
gravity more than the son does.
those, who are in the gallery, who have an interest and who have appeared. I appreciate the decorum that has been maintained throughout this proceeding, or both of these proceedings today. And
These
with
families,
that, this matter
poor
is adjourned.
family. The wife of the coach is pregnant. FYI.
Official later today, but he'll come and see you probably the first part of next week.
This is true. There are two other younger children. The wife of the coach is expecting a third or fourth child. Eddie, I understand. The wife says he's mentally ill, but I'm not sure I trust her judgment. That's all I'm saying. He very well may be, he may not be. There are a total of 3 children. This is true. I'm not sure I could be that calm. They would have to drug me up. Both of them have a temporary defendant at this time. They will be given another defender, public defender, or other attorneys. There may be, like Jedi just said, conflicts because the mother has been through this system. Oh, snap it. Okay, we're good. Whew, I thought I accidentally hit a button and cut the live. The sheriff is offering condolences. I don't know whose parents, family members. That looks like a mama of somebody. I'm sorry, Kristen. We'll pray for you. And those who know me know I don't say that lightly. I assume that's the mother and father of the teacher. She was 53. She didn't look it. That lady there, I think, is the one in black that just passed. I think she's the wife of the coach, but I could be wrong. She looked like she may have been in a maternity top. I'm sure we'll learn who they are eventually. I can really respect the courtroom's understanding as to the gravity of this for the families. It was very subdued. It was very respectful. It was very quiet. I think everybody's still in shock. First of all, Katie, he didn't have the weapon at that time. The father bought the weapon after the investigation with the FBI. He said he was teaching his child to hunt. He had weapons, but they were stored. Yes, we'll do. Yes, we will keep them in prayer. Yes, we right now bless Recovery Addict and his family as they head home, and may they arrive safely. And y'all pray for them. It's a long trip home. Jedi Jess, I was just getting ready to go there. The FBI did not have probable cause at the time, and they did not have proof at that point to prove that he is the one that made the threat. I would think, just even if he had and the FBI showed up at his house, I would think that would scare the crap out of anybody and they wouldn't do it again. Golden Girl, there are a lot of people that do. Actually, there are a lot of people that do. Not that I would, but they do. I'm going to mute that. That's hurting my ears. The wedding, I believe, is this weekend, or it would happen last weekend. I can't keep up. I've got RA traveling. My main mod is traveling for a wedding. I can't keep up. That's right. Most of them are the AR style now. Yeah, he's going to his son's wedding and then they're going to head home. Nope, they can't take the dad's weapons away for the son's threat because they could not prove the son made the threat. The son denied it. And guys, I know a lot of people are mad at the FBI, but unless they had probable cause, which they did not, and the fact that his age, there's just only so much they can do. Wedding day's tomorrow. Yeah, there was been a lot of school threats. Megan, we just did that. I think I'm going to zoom back and rewind, and we'll watch it, and we're just going to go back to back. I know. Yeah, they did what they could at the time. And most reasonable person having any FBI agent come banging on their door, even if they did do it, they would be scared out of their mind. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is back this up. I'm going to show y'all the section with the sun. We're going to go back to this. And I have no problem with discussing current laws. Just please keep politics out. RA has no pickles, no politics. I have pineapple, no politics. I love pineapple.
I'm sorry.
On my pizza. The more the merrier. Just cheese and pineapple. Okay, here comes the victims' families. The families of the victims.
Defense microphone, testing, testing.
Okay, sweet.
So the lady in black appears to be pregnant, but she's holding somebody's hand. That may not be her. I think that one right there with the headband is the coach's wife. And that may be her sister and brother-in-law. Trash. Love pineapple. Pineapples, no politics. I like them both. If you hear little snoring going around in my background or you can't figure out what that is, that's my service dog snoring. Hello, a lot of you are new to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I am Ada K. I will try and interpret it this time around for the deaf community that does watch us. And thank you, Oatmeal, for becoming a new member. Yay! Oh, I forgot to put this up. Also, any and all super chats during this time frame will be donated to the GoFundMe's for the victims. Every little bit helps. Yeah, that's a good cake. I put a twist on mine. Pineapple and cottage cheese is really good. I grill them. I eat them raw. I eat pineapple anyway. So I'm going to show this one real quick. So when I do my things, I know where I did the interpreting. Oh my gosh. I have one of those Blackstone big griddles. Oh, excuse the stretch. I have a huge griddle, Blackstone, the biggest one they make, air fryers underneath. And I haven't used it in a long time because I just haven't. Now I think you've got that right there. Grilled pineapple just got me in the mood to clean it and use it. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. I have to say, I have the utmost respect for this group of victim families. Is stoic, no disruption in the courtroom. they're still in shock, of course. I'm very, very. These people you see guiding and talking to them are victim advocates, and there's probably about one per family that's there and helping them. Um, Guiding them through this process. Golden Girls, yes, RA chat family are Ada's fans too. We RA is, whether he realizes it or not, is my mentor. We love RA here. So you have a lot of these women, and I don't see any men, but that are going between the families and the court. This woman here, there's a lot of about 3 or 4 that I've counted. They are victim advocates that are helping out. Golden Girl, you are welcome to be here. We appreciate everybody here from, if you're here from the RA channel, thank you so much. Please leave some DNA. I understand you subscribe to him, but I would appreciate it too. And any and all super chats until further notice will be donated. I am replaying this. This is a replay. There we go. No, I thought that was a child. That's a grown woman. She's tiny, tiny, tiny. Yes, please like. I'm going to zoom.
Several days. For that reason, the court has seen fit under Rule 22 of the Superior Court, Uniform Superior Court rules, to allow media outlets to record some of these proceedings. However, under those rules, the court has set in place certain limitations, and I just want everyone to know that the media has been informed of that, and I'm confident that they will comply with that. But otherwise, there is to be no filming or recording by any members of the public or any other individual other than those authorized specifically by the court in its signed ruling. Are we ready, counsel, to begin and bring the defendant in?
State's ready, Your Honor.
All right.
Defense is ready.
All right.
After we do him, I'm going to zoom over to my other live. Those who wish to be teleported.
Good morning, sir. Are you Mr.
I've
Colt
got it
Gray?
set up so y'all can be
My name is Curry
teleported.
Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceedings. Mr. Gray, I do need to inquire as to whether you're able to read and write the English language. All right. I also want to inform you, well, I want to ask you, do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney in these proceedings? And you are in fact represented today, is that correct? And Mr. Zane Harmon, you're here on behalf of this defendant, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you understand you have the right to be continuously represented throughout this proceeding, and if you cannot afford to hire counsel, this court is obligated under the Constitution to provide counsel for you without cost to you. All right, I am going to inform you of a few other matters, and I'm not going to ask you anything, just inform you. So one is, I want to make sure that you are aware that you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything at all. And it's important to understand that because anything you might say could be used against you at further proceedings associated with your case. I want to inform you of the charges that you currently face. In essence, you are charged with 4 counts of felony murder, as outlined in the state warrants that have been issued against you. I want to make you aware that the maximum penalty for felony murder, so for each count, the maximum penalty is that you could be punishable by death, by imprisonment for life, without parole, or by imprisonment for life, with the possibility of parole. If you have any questions about these charges, then I would urge you to discuss those with your attorney. I would invite you, Mr. Harmon, to inform the court as to whether there's a request for bond at this time.
At this time, Your Honor, there is not a request for bond. We will file the appropriate motions if that becomes necessary.
All right. An indictment by the grand jury for most felony offenses or accusations, well, you have the right to receive an indictment for these offenses. And I assume Mr. Brad Smith is here on behalf of the DA's office, or he is our district attorney, and he's accompanied by Ms. Patricia Brooks, who is his chief assistant. A preliminary hearing, you'll have the right also to a preliminary hearing, unless you make a bond, which of course at this point there's no bond being requested, or unless you waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or a jury. You have the right to confirm.
I know I'm interrupting. This is a replay. Do you see that door that's open with that officer standing there? And they have 3 officers here. That's 4. They normally don't keep that open, but that's remaining open in case somebody decides to hop over the bar, which is that dividing wall, that little short retaining wall, which they call the bar. The moment you cross that bar, so if anybody tries to do anything to him, that door's open, so they have a fast escape. That is highly unusual for them to keep that door open, FYI.
Confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. As you sit here in this courtroom today, under the law, you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point in any proceeding will not be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. Counsel, let me just inquire as to whether there are any other items that the court should address before we conclude this preliminary hearing.
No, Your Honor.
Well, I do have one piece of information to convey to the court. There was a development yesterday afternoon that makes it necessary for our office to have alternate counsel appointed, and arrangements have already been made in that regard. I've already explained that to Mr. Gray, and alternate counsel will be appointed by the end of the day today.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Donna C. Graves. All right, then with that, this hearing is concluded, and you may escort this defendant out.
Okay. The reason why I believe that they have said what they just said about alternate counsel from this from these lawyers,
right?
Because apparently they've had with father, because they said according to what transpired yesterday, i.e. the father was now arrested. So there is a conflict of interest there somewhere. And so they're going to have to find alternate counsel, which they already had. They also did the same thing today for the father. Okay, guys, there's nothing else here for this. I will keep you updated as much as I possibly can. We are going to teleport over to the Florida versus Donna Adelson trial for her hearing. If you'd like to join us, hopefully it works. If it doesn't transport you, please go click on it and enter and continue watching with us. I'm going to say farewell for the moment. on this stream, I'm going to pop up live on the other stream. It's interesting to do this, y'all. I'm getting used to the pop-ups. I'm getting used to popping up and over. So, yeah. So that's what we're going to do. So, seatbelts on. I like that. That's cute. Thank you so much for joining me. I do extend my prayers and sympathies to all the involved in this situation. Also for RA as he is continuing to travel. I bless all of you today, and I hope to see you on the other side in the next live. That will be happening in about,